check this out. It's actually a UberEats, McDonald's, and something from the Apple store. Which one of those is edible? Which one of those can you eat? Maybe both, or maybe neither. But yeah, that's pretty cool. So Postmates got bought out by Uber, or Uber acquired Postmates, and Postmates used to do the Apple deliveries, so now Uber takes them over. I think that's pretty cool. You know, people are in their home or at their office and they want to, you know, they need some sort of Apple product. They don't need to go down to the store. They can just get it straight to their home. By yours truly. Woo-hoo. All right, now it's time to read some tweets. Of all the great words from mouth to pen, the saddest of all, what might have been. And liberals don't care about poor people. I mean, look at San Francisco, as blue as the bottom of the sea, with all these homeless people. You don't need to go to Africa to see that spinky Speaker Pelosi cares more about her ice cream than everyday people. I learned everything I know about religion when I was 6 years old. I played this Greek priest in backgammon at some church camp. He straight up King James walked away before I made the closing move on him. I don't want to hear about what you can't do. I only care about what you can do. There's a gypsy boy somewhere in Bangladesh right now without arms playing the guitar with his feet. And you're afraid to go outside because of some book that Bill Gates recommended? And it's like, maybe the society is racist. I mean, the checkmark says I'm a white person. So all the Europeans are clumped into one group. Have you ever seen how different Europeans look? Italians, Irish, French, Greeks, British, Swiss, Ukrainians, all the same? And so people are always like, Mike, it's like you're in your own little world. And I'm all, yeah, I am. And you're welcome to come visit. Or you can stay in your own little world. Everyone's got their own little world. Just depends on how rich you want to make it. I'm just trying to be the champ of this moment. This moment is all I have. It's like, you can't just rely on your inborn quality, your God-given gifts, you know. Sometimes it's better to focus a little less on abilities and more on wise work. Sometimes it's about improving on what you did wrong, and other times it's more about doing the same thing more right. It would be interesting to know what people around Jesus' time actually thought of him and his teachings. Who could see that the teachings were at a high level and beyond the wisdom of that time? Who thought it was rubbish? I don't need to be good at everything. I just need to be good at the things I'm good at.
So my agent called me and said they want to do a sign and trade with Miami and I'd make more money there. And I was all, I ain't came here for the money. I came to San Francisco to win a championship and we finna do it. I was really thinking about getting into MMA, but then I realized that I'm just so beautiful. I wouldn't want to smash up my pretty little face. He done maxed out he white privilege card. Said, ooh-wee, boy, this life must be hard. Then he became a full retard and said, boy, life was never this hard. If I see it and believe it, I can achieve it. Makes sense why it suddenly became so stinky in San Francisco. The Dodgers are in town, and everyone knows that the vast majority of all Dodgers fans have putrid BO. Some black kid just came up to me and said, fuck you looking at, nigga? I'll knock your teeth out. And I was all, so I am a nigga.
Okay guys, check this out. So I was just doing a delivery and I was just walking by and just like looking ahead, and then some black kid came up to me and he was like, the fuck you looking at, nigga? I knock your teeth out. And I was all like, so I am a nigga? Right? You know, and you guys can check my video on that. It's called Michael Niktaris, I Am a Nigger. And I explain, you know, why I am a nigger, whatever you want to call it, right? Because, like, think about, what is that? What is that? Really, it's not about color, right? It's about people imposing their thinking onto another person, right? Whether that be with words or whatever they're doing. So that's why, you know, and if people can call me that, nigga, right? You know, they're calling me that. Then that's my word. You know what I'm saying? So I see all this stuff way different than most people, because I think that the race thing in the United States, I can't say for the rest of the world because I haven't been everywhere else, but I think in the United States is no question better than what it was 50, 60 years ago. So what are all of these people talking about? You know, I would say in all sincerity, I think the racism flipped. It went more onto white people, right? I talked about this in a tweet yesterday. I said, you know, when we fill out our forms, right, and it says ethnicity, there'll be like a whole range of like different Asian ethnicities: Filipino, Samoan, Hmong, Chinese, you know, Korean, Vietnamese, and then white, just white people. It's like, what is just white people, right? So Europeans, those are all white people. Have you been to different parts of Europe? Do you know what people in Europe look like? Like, you go up to the Scandinavias, people are like white with blonde hair, right? Blue eyes, you know? Go to Italy, Greece, all these places, the people look far different from other places, and they're all clumped into one category. Come on, what is this, right? And then this other notion, it's like, you know, as if like white people were never like persecuted or anything, right? I mean, think about it. Even the Italians, when they came over, the Irish, when they came over, all of these different peoples, they face some kind of discrimination. And I would argue that that's not even a race thing. That's like a human nature thing, right? Is like when you are around things that you know and you are comfortable with, you tend to be good to those things because you know them, right? And when something new comes in, you don't know what it is. And so it's a little bit of human nature to treat people differently, right? I'm not saying it's necessarily the correct thing. I'm sure there's a lot of good people, right, that came over that were not treated correct, right? But that's a reality of the human nature, right? The heavenly nature, of course, is different, right? Heavenly nature would see people going through like tribulations like that, wouldn't necessarily see them as a bad thing, because then from a heavenly perspective they say, okay, well, this person endured and overcame so many things, and then they're worthy of this blessing, right? Whatever reward that may be. So it's all like from different perspectives that we look at things, and also looking at time, right? Things in the past are not the same as they are now. We cannot have the same standards. In the same way, like the same standards for buildings, right, weren't the same back in the day when, you know, they were making them out of marble or clay, right? The standards for moral standards too, they change. And, you know, in some ways they get better, in some ways the morals get worse. You're always everywhere, 'cause you are the only thing that I got right Just say, hey man, glad to be on the Aquarius train.
Oh, I love it, man. I like it.
All right, bro. I'll see you later.
Go around, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll put you in the video for real.
I'll get something here. I've got to wait. Oh yeah, that's good. That's not bad. I've got a long way to travel.
Here's the Dragon Gate, good old Chinatown. Right there it says 天下为公, which means something like all under the sky, all under heaven is for the people. And that was said by Sun Yat-sen, who he would go on to become the father of China. He actually wanted to create a democracy in China, right? This is after the Qing dynasty fell. He wanted to create a democracy, and he was pretty smart and well educated. He grew up in China, he was born in China, and then he lived in Hawaii, where his brother lived, and so he lived there for a while and learned English, and so he had a lot of different understandings of the world, of both Eastern and Western culture. So it would have been interesting to see what government he wanted, right? But actually, so the Chinese Communist Party took power instead of his government, which eventually became Taiwan. And there were actually like governments at that time who they didn't want to support Sun Yat-sen, you know. And get this, it's because they knew that he was going to create a good government for the people, right? That wouldn't be taken advantage of by these other governments, right? So the other governments, they want a weak China so that they can be taken advantage of, right? And that's why he wasn't supported. And that's a shame, right? That's definitely a flaw in human thinking, because you know, you want to do well, but you know, you also want your neighbor, your friend, to do well too, right? If one is doing well and the other isn't, it's kind of a bummer, you know what I mean? And then that's why the Chinese people went to extremes with the Chinese Communist Party. They were like, we don't ever want to be taken advantage of again, whether it's by the Qing dynasty, which was, they were not of the Han ethnicity, they were from outside, like a conquering dynasty, right? We don't want that to happen again. So the CCP, it's like this big machine to, you know, they scare and control people, but you know, they also you know, make things go really fast. And so they're like, from an economic perspective, we're doing so well, you know. But actually, you see right now in China, there's a lot of floods and disasters happening. You know, that's actually their punishment, right, from heaven. All of those kind of natural disasters, things like that. You know, of course, like on the human level, it's like, oh, well, you know, someone didn't do well enough at their job, or they cut around corners because they wanted to save on supplies and rip people off, right? But at the end of the day, it's the moral standard has gotten so low that all these things happen to people, right? So the CCP has got to go. That's for show. Hey guys, I'm here at my spot, my Bruce Lee mural. You like water, and had a pretty solid day today. Pretty in the flow, in the Dow. Did my rides, and I feel pretty strong. I've gotten to be used to going up all these hills, you know? So this is the game, you know what I'm saying? It's like people talk about practice, right? They need to practice to improve. Nah. I'm just in the game, man. You talking about practice, man. Not the game that I go out there and die for and play every game like it's my last. Talking about practice.